One of my uncles had Beetle Bailey books, and they would have like the cartoons in them, like a collection of them from, you know, a year or whatever. And that's when I started seeing those and then copying them, you know, actually taking and drawing like Beetle Bailey and all that. So that kind of got me started into it. And then also at the same time got me interested in the military. So the two have kind of gone along together since the very beginning, since I was little, like I think we're talking 4 or 5 years old. What you see as Pope's puns now started when I was in CE. Prior to that, it was a full page, like almost comic book thing. What I would do is each week something in the squadron, I was an AWACS, and it was a small squadron, 125 of us, and we were in Okinawa. And so everybody knew everybody else's business, kind of like a small town. And so anything would happen, somebody would tell me about it, and then I would put it into cartoon form. And then at that time I worked in the support section, so they had a big plexiglass, you know, kind of desktop or, you know, counter space. So I'd start putting each one of these cartoons up underneath the thing. So anybody come into the office to order parts or tools or something, they'd all get to see it. So that was real fun to see their reaction. You know, if they liked it, if they didn't like it. So that kind of honed the skills of what people saw as funny. You know, because sometimes your funny isn't somebody else's funny. So you kind of get to see how that works. When I was in CE, I was doing it anyway. Every month we had a newsletter that we'd send out, and it was just 8.5 by 11 copied, and then we'd send it out to all the troops, and it had schedules in it, what training they had to get done, if they had M16 training, if they had to get a shot, that kind of thing. And we'd have a list of that. And it was really boring. It was just a bunch of type. And that was my job there, kind of an extra duty. So I started putting cartoons of mine into it. So when Pope's Puns came out in Citizen Airman, a lot of the cartoons were actually CE based because I was pulling from a lot of the stuff that I'd already done. At that time too, I was sending cartoons out to sci-fi magazines, and there was a CE engineering magazine and all of that stuff. So it just seemed, you know, a good you know, place for my cartoons to be in a military magazine, and Citizen Airman was out there, so that's when I sent my, you know, bunch of cartoons to. Back then it was called Weekend Warrior, and when Citizen Airman took it on, Weekend Warrior is kind of a, you know, a bad name, derogatory name for a reservist, so they didn't like that. So they kind of came up with Pope's Puns. I really didn't have a lot to do with that, unfortunately, because I would have never called it Pope's Puns, because it really doesn't tell what it is. It's, you know, they're mine, of course, Pope's, but the pun, I think out of 800 and some cartoons I've done, maybe 20 have been puns. But it is what it is. But if it comes down to it, you know, I'll take a big pen, and, you know, if I don't have the other stuff with me, a piece of, you know, typing paper or paper out of the copier, just throw it together with that. I mean, because it's really just to get it, you're trying to get the humor out there, and really it's to entertain people. It's for the morale of the troops, really. So it's like if you're maintenance, you want to get that plane off. You see that plane flying away, when we have somebody that it's, you know, helped or makes them happy or helps them through, you know, coping with whatever, you know, it's just good to see. You know, that's the ultimate.